Today on Tying Tips, I'm going to try to answer one of the most common questions we get here at the shop. And I've done lots of videos on it where it's in my videos, but we're going to do one just on setting a collar. I truly get this question, once or twice a week all year. And so basically I've got a woolly sculpin set up here. I've got it all counter wrapped. Everything's ready to go. So I've got the front of the hook. You can see the shank sitting here, and everything's clean. I've got room to put the head and end the collar. And I'm going to tell you why collars, two things that happen wrong. And first of all, when people put on a collar, they try to spin the collar on much like they would if you were spinning deer hair. You're not going to do that. You're going to try to set it on the top half of the hook only. And the other thing that people do, it's something in the universe that everybody wants to use the collar as part of their head, and you really shouldn't. And I want to show you why. I want you to just look at the tips of these scissors. So when you start with hair, just pretend it's just the tips of the scissors or hair. So you got your collar going this way and the butt end's going that way. You put your thread around the middle of it and you tighten it, and it flares up like this. Okay, so now you've got a beautiful V, and it probably wrapped around, and you see it, and it looks pretty good. And so you want to use this hair that's sticking out the front as part of your head. So you push it back like this, and then it does what hair does. It tries to go back where it belongs. So when you do the rest of the head, and you spin your deer hair in front of it, and you go to trim it, what you notice is there's always an air gap right there. It's like, here's your collar, and here's your hair. It's because you tried to use that collar as part of your hair, and it's going backwards. It's trying to go back where it belongs. I'm going to show you how to stop that. We're going to do just a simple set. Jeremy doesn't like when that's in the way, so we like to keep Jeremy happy. He's an angry elf. Okay, so we're going to take this hair. I got some nice, just clean hair. Obviously, you can go look at all the hair things. You want a little bit of ripple to it. You'll see that. And I just got a piece of hair, and I'm going to use a pretty good piece of this. Now remember, when you cut hair out, that you're going to lose a good portion of this because you've got to clean it. When you work with hair, you should work with the tips, the deer hair tips in your left hand in the beginning if you're right-handed tire. And you take it, and this is a simple tip. You take it by the tips and you kind of open it up, and then you're going to clean it. And the reason you open it up is because it allows it not to get trapped, all right? So we got this nice fan, we opened it up, we run it through the brush, and you're probably pretty well done. And what we're doing is we're getting all that, there's a little bit of, I was doing a dubbing brush with that, but you're getting all this fuzz. You can see that really dubbing-like stuff. That's what stops you from working with your hair. So you get that out of there. This is really good hair, so I'm not going to have a lot of it in there. So go in and clean it out. Now take your stacker, your Nik Stacker. These are the greatest stackers ever. You come in here, and the beauty of this stacker is I can see the hair. I can see, sorry, you can't see it. You can see if it's already done. It's nice and straight, and I can go in here. It's a one-hand deal. I come back, and I just set it down. Nothing rolls away. I love that thing. So now I'm going to, you take your hair and you kind of roll it, get it back where it belongs. Now I've got the hair in a nice, I end up, what I like to have on my collar, everybody's different. I like to have on my collars, I like the overall collar to be about 1/3 of the body length. So I butt it up to the eye, it's about 1/3, and that's where I'm going to go. Now to stop the idea of using this hair as part of the head also, we're going to cut this off. So we got to measure it really well. I see exactly how long I want it right there. I transfer to my left hand, and I make a really clean cut. See how straight that cut is? All right. Now, spin your thread to the right, and you do this for a reason. You don't spin this because you've got some sort of ADD thing. You got to go in here, and if you do it, it leans. You can see it's under my hackle, but it leans to the left. It's going back against my hand because I spun it clockwise to the right. If you go the other direction, it's going to go to your right. But I want it to go to my left. Whoops, I got it overturned now. So it's going to fall back against my hand. See, I don't have to do anything. As I go down, it's just leaning against there. Now we're going to take this hair, and we've got a pretty good pinch. You can see I've got it pretty tight. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set that down to the top of the hook. And I've got it, still have it tight in my hand. And now I'm going to come up here with one turn, holding tight against the body. I've got my body squeezed pretty tight, and I've got the hair tight in there. And you can see I'm starting to lose sight of the thread. And I'm pulling straight down. I'm building a perfect elk hair caddis right now. Now see that little head, how it's building up, and I'm pulling straight down. And when I lose sight of my thread and I see that pretty little elk hair caddis, I've still got a hold of the hook. I've got a hold of the body, and it's tight in my hand, so the hair can't wrap around the hook. It's right on top. I pull the second one. Look at how pretty that is. And this is how you do an elk hair caddis too, so you never have to trim these. And so now I've got 2 turns, and I've got this this collar is perfectly aligned. You can go through those hairs if you want. All right? So now it's standing up just a little bit. I'm going to push my thumb down into it just slightly. Not enough to push it. It's tight. The thread is tight around the hook. I have 2 turns of thread. Actually, I have 3. I went 1 more forward. And so now you can just come in front of it and just cinch that down. And if you've done this right, if you get this hackle out of your way so you can see. Can you see that, Jeremy? You shouldn't be, it should be, the hackle's kind of fuzzy, but when you look down, you should see that your hair came down the halfway point of the hook on each side. You held on to it, you held it nice and tight on top when you set it there, so you're squeezing the body. You put your 2 turns of thread on it. You put the first one on kind of tight as you're seeing it starting to, the thread's disappearing into the hair. You follow it with the next one, and you pull straight down, and you get this perfect little head. See that tiny little thing there? That's how, like I said, how you do an elk hair. And if you want like a little low-dress salmon fly or steelhead fly, same way, you get that head. It's perfect. But the key to this is that if you left, again, using your scissors, if this was all hair and this hair was still sticking out the front, it would be sitting like this, right? It would be flared just like this is, just on the front. And now when you go to put your next hair on, you spin it. One, that stuff's in your way, and it's always, you push it back, but it always tries to come back where it was. Now when I do my next spin, this hair will go and lay right against the collar. It'll all be at a 45-degree angle like this, and it'll lay beautifully into your collar, and you won't have that air gap when you go and start trimming your head. Hope that helps you out.